Welcome back to a new video, and on this occasion is the LAUNCHPAD PRO. Everything on this guide is in chapters. If you look at the description or the timeline, you can jump to a section or skip the ones you don't want. If you like all of this, please like and subscribe. And this channel is supported by viewers only. If you want to buy me a coffee to say thanks and help the channel keep going on, you can. You have links at the description for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon. Alright, so let's just begin. This device is divided in two big parts. The standalone sequencer, the one that you have right there, right now what you're playing, and then the rest of the whole device. Now, on this video, I will cover everything that you can see right here, but not the standalone sequencer. But I've recorded a dedicated video just deep diving into the sequencer and all the functions and everything that you can do with just the sequencer. Check the links at the description or the cards at the top, and if it's not there, it's because it was not yet released. Okay, so in order to understand how this works, we need to go in order. If you go to the manual is good, but it's just a little bit confusing because it's divided in different parts and they are not in order. So I guess, in my opinion, the best way to learn this one is to learn how the notes work, then to learn how the chords work, then how to control all the different tracks, and then how to record and play clips, and then of course then we will talk about the custom modes. And on a different video I will show you how the sequencer and the projects. Okay, so if you are on a project, in this case I'm using Ableton, if you go to the notes mode, this is how you can of course play whatever track you have selected. At the bottom you have the buttons to select the tracks. If you play it, you're going to be getting the drum rack if you're using one. If you are using something else that it's not a drum rack, you will get a different layout. Now, in order to play, you need to record arm the track. Right here at the bottom, you have the buttons to select the different tracks, and you have 8. So if I select this one, I'm standing on the first track, which is the drum track. But if I go to the next one, I get a different layout. This is an instrument, this is the third track, the fourth, and so on and so on and so on. But the fact that you go to a track and you select the track, it doesn't mean that you have the record arm on that track. So if you go here, you can record arm whatever track. And whatever is that you play right here is what, you will be playing. In this case, I'm gonna stay on the first one because I have the drum track right here. And this is the drum layout that you get. Now, right here, if you play the empty clips, you can see right there on the screen, on the DAW, that I am actually playing some slots of the drum rack. Right? If I play right here, I can see them as well. And right here with the arrows, you can just go up or you can go down on whatever, is that you have on your drum rack. Now, what happens if you work with instruments? Because this layout, it's just pretty simple, right? It's just a 16 pads type of drum layout. So if I record arm and I go to the next track and then I go to the next one, when I play it, I get a different layout. This is the notes layout. So right now the camera is a little bit too bright. If I go to settings, it gives me the LED configuration. It's all the way at the bottom. So on the screen right now it's super bright, but in real life this is actually really nice. But it can be a lot brighter. I'm going to show you all the options that you get on the settings in a couple minutes. So when you are on an instrument track, you will be getting by default this layout, which makes sense. You just play one note, you will play one note, and then the next one, and the next one, and so on and on and on. The most challenging part is how to configure all of this. So you need to go to Shift, and once you hold it, you need to go to Note. And right here, it will give you the configuration of what scale you want to use, what's the root, and the layout. You have it, right here at the top. So first, I'm going to show you how this works. At the top, you need to have the first one selected, and this one needs to be green. I'm going to tell you how they work in a minute. Now, these rows, the ones that you have right here, these ones are the scales. You have the minor, just minor, then major, Dorian, then the blues, the pentatonic, and you have a lot of different scales. I'm going to put them right now on the screen so you can take note or maybe take a screenshot, but you also have it on the manual. Whatever scale you select right here, notice the layout of this is just changing, and it's because, of course, you're changing the scale and you use different notes. So in this case, I'm going to stay on the minor. So when you select the scale, you want to know, the root. You want to set up the root. So the purple one is going to be the root. The ones that are lighted, like the blue, are going to be the notes that are part of the actual scale, right? And the ones that are grayed out, they are not part of scale. If I go to a major, and C major is going to be all the white keys, and the black keys are going to be off. I'm going to go back to the minor, and I'm going to be using C as a root. So when I go back and I go to this layout, it's going to be C, and all the different notes we get within within that scale. If I want to use something different, well, I go back right here. Maybe I still want to use minor, but then I'm going to be using F minor. And I go back, and now it's going to be F minor, the F minor scale. If I go back, this one is going to be the pentatonic. So when you go to pentatonic, you have less notes, right? We have only 5. So when I go back to note, you can see that you have a different layout. It's only 5, and then you will continue, to the next row. And again, at the end of the day, it's completely up to you, depending on which scale you want to use and what's the root that you want to use. And again, this is just pretty simple to understand. The most confusing part is going to be the options that you get right there at the top. Right here, I'm gonna stay on C, and I'm gonna stay on minor, right? So the green, it means that you are in scale mode. It means that if I go to note, of course, we are in C, and then minor. When I go back to notes, we see the scale, right? It's the root and all the different notes. We know this. If I do shift and go back and I press it, now it turns red. This means chromatic mode. The difference is the layout is going to change. And this means that now the notes that are not part of whatever scale that you selected are going to be available to play. So you still, you highlight the ones that you have on your scale, but I can play C, and I can play this one that it's not part of the scale I selected. That's why it's called chromatic mode. You can play them all, but the ones that are on the scale are still highlighted if you wanted to. And again, all of this is just, again, up to you. If you don't want to see the notes that are out of the scale, you just go to the green mode. And if you want the notes that are outside of the scale that you selected, you go to the red mode. I'm going to stay on the green mode for now, and I want to show you these options that you have right here. And these are just the most confusing options, and they're just very, very simple. This is called the overlaps. Now, the first one, it's called sequential, and it's what we get by default. This is going to be sequential. It's going to be your note, and then, the next tone, the next one, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. All right? So that's what it means. That's sequential. I'm going to do shift and just go back. The second option is going to be 2 fingers. I'm going to go there and go back. And as you can see, the layout changes completely. So why is it called 2 fingers? Because again, if I go back, this is 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4, and then 5. Why are we talking about fingers? Well, it's going to be, it depends how you play it. If you go to the sequential and you want to play a chord, well, you're going to need to, stretch your fingers a lot in order to just play whatever. In this case, if I go to 2 fingers, it means that you have your root here. Maybe it's just way too low. I'm going to go up in pitch, and this is how you can go up in pitch and how you can go down in pitch. I'm going to go up. I'm going to play 1 note. This is 1 finger, 2 fingers. And now if I play the 3rd finger, it will not play it. It will go up to the next row. So we're going to play it, and that is that it's green right there. So it means that 1 finger, 2 fingers, and the next finger, it goes up at the top. So I could play a whole scale using just 2 fingers. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so on and so on and so on. This is why it's called 2 fingers. Now, if I go back, I go to 3 fingers. And if you think about this, this is just the same deal. Well, it's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so on and so on. If I go to 4, now it's going to be 4. And it's a little bit hard to play it. Because I'm not used to use it like this. But this is how it works, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes to the next row right here. And if we do 5, it's just, the same idea, but with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one is going to go to the next row. Now, at the end of the day, it's completely up to you again, how you want to use it. If you want to use the 2 fingers, 3 fingers, or maybe you can even go into chromatic and select one of the other combinations. All right, so the last part of the configuration for this is going to be the MIDI, which is the options that you have right here. Right now, it's outputting the MIDI notes on the channel number 1. So you have this 16 channels right here. This is why the first one is the one that it's selected. If I go to the DAW and play something, you can see that channel 1 is the one receiving note information. But if you want to change it, of course you can. I'm going to go to the 16 just to go someplace else. And now if I play it, now the 16, it's getting the note data. Okay, so now that we know how the note mode works, we need to talk about the chord mode. And I know that, again, the layout looks a little bit challenging, but it's just pretty simple. So I'm using a scaler right now just to see, all the keys that you get when you play a chord. So first you have this row, the one that's orange right here. So these are triads. So if I play something, you can see right there on the scaler, I'm playing triads. Now, maybe you're wondering or you're asking yourself, which triads? Well, again, it depends on the configuration that you have on your notes or your chord. And notice that it's the same configuration for both. So if you're using a C right here and minor, well, it's going to play whatever you have in the chords, whatever triads you can get under C minor. Then again, just like before, just like the notes mode, with the arrows at the top, you can go up in octaves or just go down in octaves. And I guess just like any other MIDI controller, by tapping both at the same time, you go back to the center. And yeah, you too, you go back to the center. But yeah, you just play triads with this. Then right here at the bottom, you see the purple one. Well, this is going to be the sustain. If I press it, it's going to go on, and I release it, it's going to go off. So if I press it and I just play a triad, it's going to sustain it. And you can see right there on the scaler on the screen that as I add notes, is going to stack the notes for us. Cool, right? And when I release it, they all die. Now, okay, so you have the triads and you have the sustain or the hold. Then at the left, right here, you have the note area. And how you read this section, because I know it looks confusing, it's actually pretty simple, is that the first pad, the first of each row is going to be, a note on the scale. I'm using a Z minor, so it's going to be C minor. Now then you have the other ones. This is, the confusing part. So if this one is the first, this one, the second one, is going to be a fifth. And again, I'm showing you the keyboard right now, so you can see it on the screen. So this one is the fifth. So it's first, root in this case, and then fifth. Now you could assume that this one is going to be a third. So it is a third, but it's going to be a third raised an octave. If I go to the fourth one is going to be a seventh. And now if I go to the fifth one, and I'm holding everything, it's going to be, I'm going to go and play it stronger. It's going to be a fifth, but again, it's going to be raised one octave. So this is how it works, and for all the other pads, it's just the same. 1, fifth, third, seventh, fifth. And then again, 1, 5, 3, 7, fifth. And this is how the whole note area was, it's laid out. And when you play it, when you use it, you can, play chords, the usual chords, just like this, by playing the first one, but you can do something like this, and it's super musical. It's always musical. Notice that everything I'm playing sounds great. And I'm just randomly playing some pads. I'm not, making a big effort right here. And alright, so this is the second part of the deal. You have your triads, you have your tones, and then on this side of the screen, notice is white. What you can do on this one is that when you store a chord, you can just record it when you hold it, and you can create whatever chord right here, and then when you play one single pad, is going to be playing your custom created chord. Alright, so how can you create a chord? So green here at the bottom, this one is going to be play. So you cannot create chords when this one is on green. So in the actual mode, I guess it's play mode, it's play, and this one is going to be the record on. So red is going to be rec, and green is going to be play. Because that's very simple. So I'm going to be on red because I want to record a chord. Let's say that I want to add this triad, but I also want to add this note at the bottom. So once I'm holding this, and I'm again holding, you just tap that one, and I'm going to release. And now if I play this, notice that we get it. We just recorded whatever it is that we did to this pad. I'm going to do another one. So I'm going to be holding this. I'm going to be hold it, notice it goes red, and I'm going to be tapping, and this one goes red. I'm going to tap this, tap this, tap this, and I made a mistake. I'm going to remove it, and there you go. I just, but by holding this, I know that the whatever notes that I just pressed are going to be part of this chord. When I release, there you go, we are done. If I wanted to play it, we get it. So, all right, so do you have those two modes? Remember, it's going to be by holding a pad, adding the notes, releasing, or just playing a chord or whatever, and then just pressing the pad, and everything will be recorded. Now, how can you maybe remove notes or edit the chords? Well, since you are on rec, you can edit. When you just press this, you can tap out whatever is that you have on red. Maybe I just want to change and add something new. And there you go, it's going to be that one. If I want to delete this chord, I can just remove everything that is red. And when I remove, notice that this is not, highlighted anymore. Another way to clear chords is going to be by doing clear and then holding the clear and just, pressing the bank or the slot, and it will just clear the chord. I'm going to do it for this ones as well. And there you go. If I play something, I have absolutely nothing. If I'm going to be adding one chord, let's say I'm going to be adding this and then a note at the bottom, I'm going to release it and then I get it. Now, what is the point of having the rec on or the green, right? What's the point of green rec? Because if I'm on rec, I can play this. The thing is that if I want to play this chord, I know I can, I'm playing it. If I press something else, it's going to add it to the actual chord, and maybe I don't want to add it, I just want to play it live. This is why you need to be on the green mode. This is why it's called play mode. If I play a chord, whatever I do right here, it doesn't matter. It will not modify the chord in memory. If I release it, it's the same chord. Okay, so we already know, I'm going to go back to notes. We already know that when we press these ones are the track select. So if I press the track, track select button is going to load, or at least, stand on that track. You can see up to 8. You have 4 here and 4 here. You can only see 8 tracks at one time. But the thing is that, of course, what happens if you have a lot more? If I go to the 8, as you can see on the DAW, I'm showing the DAW right now, I can only go to the track number 8, but maybe I just want to go to the 9. So with the controls right here at the top, especially if you're in session, you can move by ones, and we are going to talk about the session mode and how we can create clips and everything else. But with the buttons right here, you can move horizontally, and if you want to navigate to the bottom, vertically, you can do it with this ones. But we're going to talk about this in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to be going maybe to the first track. If I go here to the record arm, it's like a secondary screen. These ones are the same 8 tracks that we have right there on the screen, but on this ones are going to be, I'm going to be turning on the record arm track, and this is gonna be really useful when we record clips. So when I get out of here, it's gonna go back to the main mode, which is the track select. All right, so I'm gonna stay on that track. If I go to mute, everything goes yellow. It means that we are on mutes, so I can mute the first track, or I can mute multiple tracks at once. All right, I guess it's pretty simple. I'm gonna go to solo, and on this one you can do the same thing. I'm going to be soloing the first one or the second, the third one, and so on and so on and so on. If I want to, again, unsolo, you just need to tap the same track and it will unsolo, and just tap it to get out. Coming up next is going to be the volume. And again, if I go to volume, right here, you can, of course, go through the different tracks and it will show you, it's just going to select the track. But still, when we are in volume, it doesn't matter, because right here, on the different pads, it will show you the volume for all the different tracks. The track number 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and so on and so on and so on. So if I wanted to go to the track number 1 and go down in volume, we go down in volume on the track number 1. By default, this has an animation. It's not super fast. Maybe if I go up, it's going to take a little while just to go up in volume and go down in volume. It depends on how hard you press it. If I go really soft, press it soft, it's like the velocity is fading out the volume or fading in. It depends on how you want to call it. But yeah, it depends on the velocity. And again, all of this just controls the different volume of the tracks, and so on and so on and so on. We have a way of changing this fading type, this animation type of behavior when we go to the setup. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Now, coming up next is going to be the panning, and the panning is a little bit different from the volume. You know, the volume we have vertical lines for each of the tracks, but right here on the panning, all the tracks are going to be horizontal. This is going to be the panning for the first track, and as you can see, we are just changing the first track panning. And if I go back again to the beginning, it will always be at center right here. And the same with this one. If I go to the left and this one to the right, or left and right, I'm going to be able to do it. So this is how you do it, And remember, again, if you're working with a lot of different tracks, with the arrows, you can just, move to the next, tracks or clips. But we're going to talk about this in a minute. In this case, I just want to go to center, everything at center. So I'm going to go there. And I don't like the animation. I'm going to, again, show you how to disable this in a minute. If I go to the sense, this one works just like the volume is the, the same interface, let's say. It's not like the panning, which is horizontally, it's vertically. So on this one, it's the same. All the tracks I can send, maybe if I do it fast, I can send to the track A of the first track. If I want to go to the second track and send some more to the A, I'm going to be able to do it. And if I go to the third track, I'm going to be able to send something there. In this case, I'm going to just disable all this. Now, notice that I can only send to the track number A, to the bus A. What if I wanted to send to the bus number B, or maybe just a different bus? So right here, you have the controls. Since you have a limited amount of buses, at least on Ableton, well, this is going to be the track A. If I tap this one, it's going to be the track B. So now I'm going to be able to send something to the track B. And that's it. That's how you do it. If you want to do nothing, you just go all the way down. Coming up next is going to be the device, and this is going to be about the macros. If I maybe, I'm going to do it with the controls, that's why we have them. I'm going to select the track where we have macros. I guess on this track I do have some macros. You see them right there on the screen, and again, this one works just like the sense and just like the volume. Every single row is going to be a macro. So if I go here and go up, it's going to change what we can control, whatever macro that we have. And how this works, again, remember that the macros can only give you a certain amount of knobs. So right now, the first row is going to be the first 8. If we take a look at the DAW, is going to be the first 8. If I go to the second row, it's completely empty. So right here with the buttons, this is how you navigate the different rows. So first row, and then second row or second page. Depends on, depending on what you're doing. So if I go here and start changing all the values here, we can see the macros on the actual device. And again, if you want to go down, you just press hard, and it's going to just go down on all of them. All right, so, again, that's how you do it. If I go back, I'm going to go to the next mode, which is going to be the stop clip. Now, this one is about stopping the playback of the tracks. If I go again to stop clip, notice that this one is just like rec. If I go here, it's just pretty much the same thing. But this one, what it will do, it will stop the playback of a clip. Again, we're going to talk about this in a session when we talk about the session mode. But if I have a clip right here that it's just playing back and it's just, playing, whenever I go there, I just trigger the stop. I just stop the clip. And this works for all the, the different tracks All right, so you do have secondary functions. I'm going to be pressing shift. Maybe you don't see it because it's off camera, but as soon as I do it, you have some extra ones. The first one, if you tap it, it's going to do an undo. The mute is going to do a redo. And then, of course, you have the other options, which is just going to be enabling the metronome, right? So it's on or it's off. And this one, what it does is going to be, the tap tempo. So if I just tap it, is going to alter the tempo, and you can see it right there on the screen. All right, so that's pretty much it about controlling tracks, right? So if you go to a track, you just go with the buttons right here. If you want to arm it, you go there. If you want to mute it, if you want to solo it, if you want to control the volume, if you want to control the panning, remember you can go to different tracks on some of the modes. If you want to do some sends, if you want to control the macros, and then if you want to stop the clips, if you're playing some clips. And again, when you do shift, you can undo and redo, and you can control the metronome and just set the tempo with this one. Just, pretty simple and easy to use once you remember all of this, once you understand it. Now you have one more thing called momentary view switching. So let's say I'm going to be right here on record arm, and I want to, record some clips. We're going to do something like this in a minute. So I'm going to be just, constantly going to different tracks just to enable some of the clips. Maybe I want to change the volume. So it means that I need to get out of this mode, go to this mode, go to the volumes, and then go back to this mode. But maybe I'm just, this kind of kills the vibe. So by holding and just holding, you never release it, you can make your changes right here. And when you release this one, it's going to go back to whatever mode you had before holding this value. And this works for pretty much everything. If I wanted to change the sense, I could do something like this, and then I release it and goes back to record arm. I could do volume, just, change the volume, and then, release it and goes back to whatever mode I had before. And this is really useful because when you are playing, like, we're going to talk about this in a minute, when you're playing and doing something, you can, quickly go to different modes without getting out of whatever you are. Okay, so in session, we can play clips, and of course, we can record new clips. Let's first learn how to play them. On the screen, you can see I have 9 different tracks, and I have 10 different clips for each of the tracks. This is going to be important in a minute. So whenever you have something right here on your screen, it will reflect on your pads. So I'm gonna add manually whatever clip, and notice that right here is gonna show it. If I add more, it's gonna show the same colors, or almost the same colors I have on the different tracks. I'm gonna be adding one there. Now, if I add more, just like this, now whatever it is that you have, and I'm doing this randomly, it doesn't matter. It's just so you can see that whenever you have clips, is going to show the clips on the screen. Some of the colors, it's just not doing it. For example, right here, it should be doing kind of a orange or maybe a brownish type of color. It's just not getting it, but that's fine. So once of course, you have some clips, you want to start playing those clips. If I want to play a clip, let's say I want to play the first one, you just tap it and it's going to start, playing that one. If I want to play this one, it's going to go and do it, and so on and on and on. All the ones that are just blinking are the ones that are just playing. If you want to play a clip that belongs to the same track, of course, it's going to cue in, the next clip. This one is going to stop, and it's going to play the next one. Notice it blinks before it cues to the next clip. If I play this and then I play that, it's going to blink. So it depends, of course, on your clip and how long that clip is. This is how it works, right? You just press whatever you want and it will just play that order of the clips. Remember that by going to stop clip right here, I can stop all the clips that are just playing on the different tracks, and I can, stop pretty much the whole damn thing. I couldn't find a way to stop all the clips at once on this session without going to each of the tracks. I couldn't find it, and it seems that some people on the web are just, complaining about the same thing. But you do have a custom mode, so you can create a custom maybe button to trigger some of the actions that you don't have available by default. Now, if I just, start maybe all the first clips. What you can do, well, let's say I want to maybe select a clip without launching it. You need to go to Shift, hold the Shift, and when you tap on that clip, you can see that I'm selecting that clip, but I'm not, playing it. I'm not launching that clip. Now, at the right side, you have your scenes. So if you play this one, of course, it will play the first scene. If I play this, it's going to play the second scene and the third one and the fourth one. I guess all of this is just, pretty obvious. All right, so when you are playing, a thing that you need to know is how the play works. If you press play, it will stop the playback. But if you press play again, everything's just kind of starts from the beginning. All right, so you stop, you play, and it starts from the beginning. But if you hold the Shift and you do play, it will stop it. But instead of stopping, it's pausing. So when I play it again, it will resume from that play. So this is when holding Shift, it's more like a play and a pause than just stop and restart playback. All right, so remember that the view by default is going to be 8 by 8. If you want to go to the tracks and the clips that, are not right here, you can, in session, you can use your arrows and just, move one up or one down or, one to the left and so on and so on. Now, the problem is that sometimes, not always, maybe you have a session with, 30 different tracks and 50 different clips on each track, right? So you have something crazy like this. So going by just, by one, it's just a little bit annoying, So if you hold the button session and you hold it, notice that we get something different. So this, what it does is gonna jump by 8 different tracks on the horizontal, and then on vertical, it's gonna go by 8 different clips. So this is a much easier way if you have a super long session. All right, so this is how you can play the clips. Once you have them right here, you just play them back. If you want to stop it, make sure you go to stop clip and you kill whatever is that it's playing back. And if you want to play a scene, you just press the button and that's it. And again, if you want to stop it, you can just do something like that and it's gonna stop them all. All right, so everything we've learned so far, like, controlling the notes, the chords, and then the tracks, and just playing the clips on the session view comes down to creating clips on the go. I'm starting with an empty session, and you need to make sure I'm going to enable the metronome right here. You have it, and on the options, I have 2 bars as a count in, and I only have the metronome when recording, and I guess my tempo is going to be 120, 119, something like that. Make sure that you're not playing back, that everything's just stopped. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to go to my drums, and I want to record some drums. Now remember that if you're in session, you need to record arm the track that you want to record. And now the only thing that we need to do is we need to tap the clip. This will start the recording. Notice it will count in, and then we record something. Now, when of course, it will keep recording behind the scenes. I can press this one and it will stop recording and it will go back to the clip. Now, if I go to the DAW and show you what we have on the clip, notice that the clip is very long. So it will not stop recording until you, of course, press the rec, or you go back to the session and you tap whatever is the clip that you're recording. Now, if you want to erase the clip, I'm going to do clear, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to erase it. And I'm going to record it again, is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 bars. I go to session. When I tap this, it will stop, and of course, it will keep the playback. Okay, cool. Whenever we tap a clip, it will start recording. We know that. But we have a few problems. The length of the clip, right now, we can see that it's a little bit off. And the quantization, it's not quantizing. All the notes are just a little bit off. Now, you have a couple of options right here. If you recorded something and you want to quantize it, the button right here is going to say quantize. You can press and hold. And once you do this, you just tap whatever it is that you want to quantize, and it will, quantize it for you. So that's one way of doing it. What if you want to record and, quantize at the same time? You can do so. I'm going to hold the clear and I'm going to clear the clip and I'm going to start over. To enable the quantization, you need to go to Shift, and right here is going to say quantize again, but it's red. If you press it, it's going to be like on a green or something like that. This means that the record quantized, now it's on. So when you record something, it's going to quantize it for you. And to stop it, I'm going to press the rec to stop. And there we go. Now it's quantized. I don't need to, manually go and quantize it. Okay, so next problem, which, again, it's just not a problem. It's just the way it works. What I want to do, I want to record a 2-bar loop. And I want for this to stop at 2 bars. I don't want it to keep going because it will require for me to press the rec to stop, or just go into session and just tap the clip to stop recording. And you do have a function to fix this. I'm going to go to clear and I'm going to clear the whole, the whole clip. I'm going to erase it. And right here at the bottom, you have a button that says fixed length. So when you press it, it's going to turn blue. This means that you are turning on the fixed length. The thing is that you need to configure how many bars you want to record. And if you press and hold, at the bottom, it will, show you, it will turn blue. This means it's going to be 1 bar, 2 bars, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if you want to record a fixed clip of 8 bars, you need to enable them all. You cannot do more than 8, which is, I guess that's fine. I'm going to go for 2. I'm going to release it. And when I record, this will stop at 2 bars. So I'm going to go here. One more. And it will just, there you go, just do it for me. I don't need to stop it manually, which is, just great. If I want to stop it, remember, you can press play and press again, and it will start from the beginning. Or if you want to do Shift and then press play, it will pause, and then pressing again, it will continue, while holding the Shift, continue from where you paused, whatever it is that you're playing. If I go back, I press this, and I have that, that clip playing. What I want to do, since I have a clip, I want to record something at the top. So it's going to be this button. When you enable this, notice that recording goes on. So this is the overdub. Whatever you play right here is going to record it on top of the, the playing clip. If you disable this, what you can do, you can play at the top and audition whatever it is that you select. Let's say I want to record this one. I'm going to turn it on. And there you go. If you want to turn it off and then maybe do something like that. And you just, keep adding more stuff. There we go. It's and it's that easy. I mean, that easy. All right. Now, of course, I've recorded a lot of different things. And if you take a look at the clip, we have a lot of things. What happens if I want to delete some of the parts? We know that by going to session, if I go to clear and just, tap this one, is going to, delete the whole damn thing. But I don't want this. I want to delete parts. I'm going to play it back and I can see, whatever he's playing because, it's just flashing when it's playing. So let's say I want to delete the notes. I'm going to hold the clear, and by tapping this one, it's going to kaboom the whole, the whole instrument. Let's see. I'm going to delete that one. What else do we have? We have that one. So I'm just delete that one. We have, this one is the hat. We have some claps. I'm going to delete it. And if I want to delete the hats, I delete the hats. Now always remember that you do have the Shift, hold the shift, and you have the undo and the redo. So if you do something that you don't want, you can always go back. Now, one more thing that you really need to know, if I'm playing back on session, if I just press the clear, nothing really happens until, of course, I hold clear and I do some extra stuff. If I'm standing right here on the note and I press clear, it's going to delete the clip. So you need to make sure that when you do this, you really want to delete the clip. If I hold shift and I want to undo, of course, I can go back. All right, so let me show you a couple more things. I'm going to be playing that 4 in the floor that we have. And we know it's just, 2 bars, which is, it's fine. Now what I want to do, I want to extend it. So on session mode, not node mode, because it's a little bit different. In session mode, I can hold the shift, and right here you can see this that says duplicate or double. If I hold it and just press it, hold both and press both at once, if I tap this clip, it's going to duplicate the length. So if it was 2 bars, now it's going to be 4 bars. And if I do it again, just shift and duplicate, it's going to be now, of course, 8 bars, right? So yeah, this is how you just extend the clip. I'm gonna be going back, just what we have before, just 2, and I'm gonna extend all of this. Okay, so let me show you a couple more things. Without holding the shift, by going to duplicate, if I press and hold, if I press this one, tap this one, is gonna take whatever we have on that clip, duplicate it, and allocate it on the next upcoming clip. So I'm gonna do it. And now we have a new clip. If I go there, is the same, 4 in the floor. And this is, a way of just, duplicating whatever we have so we can record different variations. Now, we have a better way to do this. I'm gonna go to clear and I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna play the first clip. I'm gonna go to the notes mode. Let me play this. I'm gonna go to notes. So now, when we do the duplicate thing here, it's going to work a little bit different. So I'm going to be pressing the duplicate button. I'm going to press it, and here's what happens. On the DAW right there, we can see that now we have 2 clips, and it's playing the second one. So whenever you're in notes mode or chords, whenever you're on this modes, when you press the duplicate, it will take whatever you have duplicated and play back the other one. Alright, so what is the point of, having all of this? I'm going to go to clear and just clear the second and go to the first one. So let's say, I did something like this and I want to extend it and create different variations. So the whole point is that I can go to duplicate super fast. I can enable and just record something on the go. And it's going to do it for me. Now, if I want to, maybe made a mistake right there, but now if I want to maybe take this and record a new variation, I do duplicate, it's going to duplicate, and now I can, record something else. And now, just like that, we have 3 different clips doing something different. If I go to this one, it's going to play the first variation, the second variation, the first variation, and this is because the rec is on. I'm going to turn it off. The first variation, the second one, and then the third one. And we just did it, in just a split of a second. Super, super cool feature. This device already gives us a lot, with the notes, the chords, handling the sessions and everything else. But you also have an extra custom mode. And right here, you can create your own mode and you have up to 8 different modes you can customize, and you can, do a lot of things. You can control DAW features or send CCs, or you can do program change. If you use this with different synthesizers or different, different devices, you can configure this to send whatever message is that you want to send. Now, the thing is that from factory, and this is how I got it from factory, maybe it's just not like that from factory. When you go to custom mode and you go to your default 8 custom modes, you have nothing. So for this, you need to go to the web and use something called Novation Components, which is the app, the web app, or you can download Novation Components and install it in your computer. Now, once you do so, and I have it, I have it right here, you can see it, right there. So when I go to there, it's going to give us the factory custom modes, and notice that you have 8. So what you can do, you can create your own custom mode, or you just can maybe upload one of the ones that you have from factory. Now, when you click on one of the custom modes, you can see what they do. For example, the first one, it says 8 unipolar vertical faders set to CC and a specific number, and then 7, and then through 14. So I'm going to send it, I'm going to send it to the mode 1. So when you click send to the LAUNCHPAD Pro, you need to select the slot. In this case, I'm going to say number 1. I'm going to override whatever custom mode. I have nothing, so I'm not going to override anything. So if I go to custom mode now, and I go to the first one, we have 8 different sliders, which is, what it says right there. And each of them will output CCs to, to different numbers. So this is what you do. You just create a mode where you do something very specific. Now, from factory, you have all, this ones, the ones that you get right here, they all do different things. But the things that you can create your own, to do this, I'm going to go to new custom mode. I'm going to go there. And I'm going to say create a custom mode. Now, right there on the right side, it tells you what you can do. You can add a vertical unipolar fader. Maybe I'm going to drag and drop, and I'm going to do so. And when you do so, it's going to ask you the CC number, which MIDI channel. If you need to change that, you can change the color if you wanted to. And then once you're done, you just close it and you keep adding more things. For example, if I want to add a chromatic keyboard, well, that's not going to work because the chromatic keyboard uses 2 complete, horizontal rows. So, you kind of need a free spot to do that. But you can add other things like a drum grid. Once you do so, it will again ask you more questions. And once you're done, you click it. And then again, you have a lot of things, including program change and some other features that you can add to your custom modes. Let's say I want the drum pad right here, and I want more, maybe faders, right? I'm gonna maybe choose different colors. I'm gonna maybe put a MIDI note right here. You can, of course, set it up, and then maybe I want to do some program change, and this one, it's gonna ask you what you want to do. And once you're done customizing your custom mode, you just send it, or you can of course save it, and this will save it on your own custom modes or your account. In this case, I'm going to send it. I don't want to save it. I'm going to send it to the number 2, and once I'm done, I'm going to overwrite the whatever custom mode. And now if I go to the device and I go to the number 2, we got what was promised. We got the fader, and then right here, we have the other fader, which right now it's kind of a my fail because it's mapping the same CCs. So by modifying this is modifying the second line, and by modifying this one, it's just modifying the other one. But then again, you have the drums, and then you have the send, the MIDI send, and then the program change. So all of this is something that you need to do on your own and configure. And this is a super important tool, especially if you want to do something extra with, again, external synthesizers or external hardware. Let's say that you want to do some very specific features or to trigger some very specific things on your DAW, for example, and you know that the DAW is going to respond to a very specific CC and a fader. Well, you create a custom mode, you target all your faders, you map it to the CCs that you want, and when you go to the custom modes, you can control different things on your DAW. That's the main idea of having a custom mode. And you have 8 of this. You can go, crazy. One more thing that you need to know is that when you have a custom mode, you can go to the configurations of the custom mode. The only thing that you can do right here is going to be the MIDI channel. By default, right now, all of them are going to MIDI channel number 1. Remember, you have 16. So the custom number 1 is going to the 1. But maybe the custom mode 2, I wanted for this one to go to the 16. So if I go to 16, now it's sending to the 16. So if I go to the third one, notice I can change the third to, the MIDI channel number 3, but it's going to show you which ones are, occupied. The custom mode 1 is using channel number 1, the custom mode channel 2, the 2 is using the channel 16, and now, the 3 is using the 3, then maybe the 4 is going to use the 2, and so on and so on. So it will tell you which channels are occupied already for your custom modes. And okay, if you press this setup option, it will give you more options. Right here at the bottom, you can see what you can select. you have, again, different options, and all of them are super, confusing because you don't see the letters or what they do. You need to go to the manual, but, you don't need to. I'm gonna let you know what they do right now. You need to know is you need to hold it in order to get the screen. So this is going to be the LED intensity. I guess I already showed you this. There's a different way to adjust the brightness of this. I'm going to go all the way to minimum. And then at the bottom, you have two extra options. So right here, you can turn off the LEDs. And this means that when you turn it off, of course, you're pretty much kind of like turning off the device, all the LEDs to save energy. As soon as you press something, it's going to go back. It's going to be this one. Now, this one is the Vegas mode. If you turn it off, right now it's red, which means it's off. And this is the Vegas mode. Whenever you don't use this, it's going to go on a show. It's called the Vegas mode. It will use that Vegas mode. If you don't like it, and I really don't like the Vegas mode, I think it's just annoying to see, you can turn it off from here. That's the LEDs. I'm going to go to the next option. And this one is going to be about the velocity. Now, you don't have a lot of options right here. This one is going to turn off the velocity. So now, of course, let me just go maybe to the first one. I have no velocity, just completely off. So right here, you can turn it off. And now you get the velocity back. So notice that when you turn it off or turn it on, these options right here at the bottom, they just, go away. And this is because this is the velocity curve. So if I go here, this one is going to be low, this one is going to be medium, and this one is going to be high. And all of this is, again, about velocity. Right here on these options, this one's what they are. They are just different profiles of velocity. For example, if I stay on this one, for example, if I stay on this one and I press, and I'm not pressing really hard, it's just, no, it's okay, I guess. You cannot feel it. I can feel it, but I'm not doing super hard. It's just, very soft. We get that. Now I'm going to go to the other side, to the minimum, let's say. I'm going to do the same, but it is just softer. So these are just, different profiles in terms of velocity. I guess this one is the default. And right here, you just need to go to the settings and try the setting that you like the most. So then we have aftertouch. In terms of aftertouch, by default, it's going to be, it's going to be on or off. Depends on what you want to do. So if you go to here, you're pretty much disabling the aftertouch. You're turning it off. And you have two options. You have the poly aftertouch, which is this option. And then you have channel pressure. It's just two different types of aftertouch. It's, again, completely up to you. Still, when you are on either mode, at the bottom, this is the threshold. This is going to be off, and you have two different profiles, the low and the high. And again, all this just, for aftertouch. And you need to go right here and just configure it out. So then you have the MIDI. This one is just pretty simple. This one is going to be the receive, and this one is the transmit. And I'm talking about the clock. This is the MIDI clock, on and off. And then on the other side, and notice that you don't have a lot. On the other side, you have the out to and the through. So this is the, the MIDI out, pretty much. So if I go here, nothing happens. You can select either through or the out to. So at the back, right there at the back, you have the MIDI out, and you have an out 1 and an out 2. So pretty much when you are selecting out 2, it means that out 2 will duplicate whatever the output 1, which is the default, will do. Now, this one is the fader velocity. Again, you don't have a lot of options. So this one is the one that I was talking about, the animation that you get when you press the faders. By default, the animation, it's kind of on. So if I turn it off, now if I maybe go to volume, whenever I press it, it's going to be super fast. It doesn't care about the velocity I press to change or, to change the volume. It's just going to go and do it. If I go again and turn it on, remember that the velocity, if I do super slow, it's going to take a long time to get there. Now, maybe because I asked myself when I just got this device, what is the purpose of, having this type of animation or velocity when we change values? And if you think about this, if you're performing or doing something live, if this is off, right, you have it off, and you tap this, it's going to go really aggressively all the way down. Depending, whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe it's volume, maybe it's panning, whatever. It doesn't matter. So it's super aggressive. So if you turn it on by using velocity, you can handle how fast you want that transition. So if you are maybe working, you use this on a DAW and you work at home, maybe you don't give an F about the transitioning, so you can go there and just turn it off and use it like a normal, fader. Now, one more thing before you go, I'm gonna unplug this, just gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna just plug it in, and I'm gonna plug it in again, but first I'm gonna hold the setup and then I'm gonna plug it in. So when you do this, it's gonna give you kind of the configuration for the device. I can release it. This is the bootloader menu. At the top, you have the device ID, and maybe you don't see it. The camera is not showing it because of the exposure and the light and the brightness. Right here at the top is selecting the number 1. So it means that the device ID of this device is the device ID number 1. But you have, 16. What is the meaning of this? Let's say that you have 2 different devices, 2 different launchpads, and you want to use it within the same session, within the same DAW. How can the DAW recognize which device is which? So if this one is the number 1, let's say that I use a different launchpad, I'm going to give it the ID of 2, so Ableton or whatever other DAW will be able to recognize the device, based on the ID of each device. And, that's pretty much it. Then at the bottom, you have the brightness. This is the normal. I have had it all the way down. So it's pretty bright if you think about this. And it's, again, completely up to you. I'm going to keep it all the way down. At the bottom, this one, if you press it, is going to show you the bootloader version. If you care about that. Then it's going to show you the application version. Now, then this one at the bottom, if you press it, is going to exit the bootloader, this menu, and just, go back to normal mode. Then the yellow one is the easy start. So when you buy this and you connect it to your computer will recognize this as a mass storage device. And inside there, if you go to the drive, you have the access to the manuals and the quick start, the application, and everything else. So that's why it's called Easy Start, right? So the thing is that after you learn how to use it and you keep using it, you don't need the Easy Start anymore. So if you turn it off, right? So you just turn it off. It's going to take just a little bit of time, right? So now it's off. It will not appear anymore as a mass storage device. So again, if you want to use this, turn it on. But again, once you understand how to use it and once you actively use this device, you don't need this feature. And if I press this, it's going to exit and, restart and go back to the normal mode. And okay, so we are done on this video. The only thing I didn't cover is the sequencer right here and the projects. I'm going to upload a video just covering the sequencer and the projects. I guess I'm going to be uploading it maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Okay, so if you learned something new and you liked all of this, please like and subscribe. And this channel is supported by viewers only. If you want to buy me a coffee to say thanks and help the channel keep going on, you can. Go to the links at the description. You have links for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon.